super close to the mic. I had to be in the bedroom today because we're
a little room tone, but you're not bad.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. What's up, bro?
Hey, it's the What's Up Bro podcast. We talk movies, sports, TV shows, pop culture, and it's funny, motherfuckers. With nary signs. I'm like, what? How can this... They have Photoshop. Photoshop exists when this artist rendition was done. How the fuck is this not cooler looking than a sketch that looks like it was done by a hillbilly off the side of the road? What the fuck are we talking? Why is this a thing?
So you're telling me there's a chance?
With Missy.
Just let me finish my thought before you fucking interrupt me. Wrong room to ask questions.
Welcome to the party, pal!
And Mike Markadal.
I'm just glad I like vanilla boring sex like this. I'm glad that the sex I enjoy won't get me killed.
That's how winning is done.
Hey, I'm Dave Chappelle, and this is What's Up, Bro.
All right. Welcome to the What's Up Bro podcast, your favorite podcast where you come to watch and hear people talk, debate, and argue over a lot of shit that they don't know, but sometimes they do know, but most of the time we don't know.
Most of the time we don't
That's
know.
a weird tagline.
Yeah. hear us talk shit about stuff we don't know.
There's a chance we know what we're talking about, but chances are we don't.
There's
So basically, most comment sections.
Yeah.
The internet.
There's four of us, so the odds of there's a 1 out of 4 chance that someone might know what we're talking about.
Never tell me the odds. I am Nary Science. With me, as usual, is Missy.
Hello.
And Mike Mercadal.
Yep.
What's
up, bro?
We have the name of the podcast. And today we have this lady. What was her name again?
Stop it. We missed you. I missed you.
That was special guest. I gotta look at my show.
Special guest. Damn.
Wow, you're not even on the show anymore.
Go on one vacation.
Wow.
How was it?
One vacation. That was like 4 weeks in a row.
They care about people in Australia, so she can do that and keep her company and her job.
All right.
Yeah. It's also my company.
Your counselor came with you. I didn't know you had your lawyer with you to answer your questions.
Listen, I am so happy.
The consigliere. But that's the thing, is that in other countries you're allowed to take vacation.
In some countries it's mandatory.
You're supposed to go on vacation. Take your time.
Oh, over here it's mandatory. I think the norm is like 30 days, something. So
meanwhile, I'm negotiating a day here, a day there.
Yeah. America sucks, yo.
Are you going on vacation? No, my mom's getting a colonoscopy.
Yeah, all of the sick days are.
The compassionate days are separate from that.
Stop. You know what? Like,
compassionate days.
They're like rubbing it in America's faces by calling it compassionate days. Like, it's like, oh no, we care about our
empathy
our citizenry.
days.
Yeah.
The irony that they're rubbing in our faces compassionate.
Yeah. They're like,
I
look how humble we are. We are the most humble.
I think about emailing Jacinda Ardern all the time. Like, please take me in.
Who's Jacinda Ardern? Oh,
she's the Prime Minister of New Zealand.
You can apply for citizenship.
Who has not missed
visa? I mean,
like, bro, over there, like Canada. It's the Canada of Australia for sure. Like everywhere we went, Dave was like, everyone here is so nice. I'm like, have you met you?
Yeah.
Does he think he's mean?
Apparently.
Whoa.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Places people from Miami can never go. New Zealand.
Why?
Because we are. If Dave is the rude one.
They found me amusing as shit though.
Yeah, but you're not from Miami anymore.
I can fake it. Yes, she is. Oh my God,
still
Mary.
Very much.
She spells favorite with a U.
She's trying to blend in.
And she doesn't say stroller. What is it?
A pram.
A pram.
Well, of course.
You want her to be a weirdo
here? I'm gonna call it the things.
Right.
That
You've
I
been
had
there 4 years. How long are you gonna be in some place before you're no longer from some other place?
But you're still from that place.
Are you not Nicaraguan?
No,
Yeah.
not really. I came here at 3 years old. I mean, really, like
Well, you gotta work on your comedy then, because
What?
I don't.
That's such an inside bit because of something
yeah,
that was
sorry,
not
that's
on the show.
Sorry.
That's not. I'm not that anymore. I'm American. That's the whole point of the bit. Is like, oh, you're one of those people. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
I don't know.
Anyways, we have a couple things that talk. Well, how was your vacation? First of all, I'm sorry, your holiday. Because
Holiday.
your
such
vacation.
a dick. Please keep coming back. Just forget about him and come back for me.
You're like,
There'll be
don't
plenty
hate
of
us.
time for her
Do
to
we
forget
not
about
get
me.
the bit?
When I start working on cruises again? There'll be plenty of time for her to be like, Neri who?
Yeah.
So
No, so yeah, no, it was actually really fantastic. It was really needed. Going over there was just mind blowing because, mind you, we were going through a bit of restrictions over here at the time. So we actually had to have masks on and to have them on the plane. And the moment that we get off and we were picked up by our driver, obviously no one's wearing anything. We weren't thinking about it until we were still wearing it outside. And she's like, you could take those off. And we're like, oh, are you allowed to here? She's like, you're allowed to everywhere. We don't do that.
Yeah. Like it didn't process. It's like, yeah, we're back to normal. And
You
it's
know
like,
what? I
oh,
will eat my
ironically-
feelings today.
ironically, Florida's the same way.
Except.
Not supposed to.
Except.
It's not supposed to, but it's like,
Yeah.
can I take it off? And they're like, what the hell is that? I don't even know what that is. Or
Yeah.
take it
Well,
off.
Broward just passed it. The county schools passed that they're mandating masks.
Yeah, but this guy,
Dickless.
what's his name? Death Santos.
Hated.
Is
Hades?
fucking, he's gonna pass that mandate where it's saying
Oh, that you can't.
Yeah,
thing?
it's
Yeah.
an executive order where he's saying that nobody could, you know what I mean? Like
He's
specific
such an
counties.
asshole. Like, why do that, bro?
Like that's like extra level.
For
I'll
kids?
never understand. I'll never understand a
For
pandemic
kids.
being politicized.
Yeah, well, you know.
I'll never.
If
I'll never
you're
get
from
it.
New Zealand and you're watching, I'm prepared to leave tomorrow.
just
Take
go.
me in.
Get the visa.
I
Just
can't.
go.
They're
guy's
not
really
letting
nice.
anybody in.
No, they are for skilled.
Excuse
roles.
me. They're not letting anyone in from the United States.
For skilled roles.
All
HR
right.
is one of them.
Comedians.
Hmm.
Right.
Just saying. Also in Australia, they are also looking for it.
Wait, so I'm gonna have to switch to metric? Fuck.
I'm out.
Yeah.
That's
already-
the deal breaker.
I still haven't.
Well,
I don't know.
I'm talking about,
talking about
as
it anytime.
as a paramedic, it's like
Oh, yeah. Kind of important.
everything's already metric anyway.
All right.
Like it's all
Yeah.
like, you know, cc's and milliliters of, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. Like I'm not putting pounds of medication into people.
The
Like how many
Microsoft
fluid ounces am I
Something's fucked.
Mm-mm.
the Microsoft programs don't change, right? Otherwise, I'm fine.
Yeah.
No, you're fine, you're fine.
Jeff is commenting. He said that Death Santos passed an order and threatened to withhold the salary of any superintendent or board that ignores it and requires masks.
What the fuck?
He said for like
other
children.
That's other level. Like
This is like that's
it's not
like
even like he could have just said like, hey, it's up to each individual school, each individual district. He could have just said that and wiped his hands with it, right?
Mm.
Like politically, he could have been like, hey, I left it up to them. Everybody
Yeah.
knows their own shit. You guys are adults. But he didn't. He was like, you know what? Fuck that.
Yeah.
If you want your money, if you want your funding, I'm gonna make sure you oh god, what
It's evil.
Hasn't
like
the Delta strain
fruits
been-
of the devil.
Hasn't the Delta strain actually been affecting a lot of young people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
most.
I don't want
yeah.
to get into the details of how
Broward
bad it all
County-
is because it's a
last I
comedy
heard-
podcast.
3 days ago I read that Broward County was the highest in cases, which I was shocked because I was like, not Dade? Okay.
Maybe I should do drugs.
That's because
while we
Dade's not
talk about
reporting.
Wait, what about drugs, Missy?
Missy, what drugs would you be interested in?
Oh, I have
All of them?
edibles.
All of
No, just I
Do 'em-
only I'm
you should've-
I'm monogamous to my marijuana. That's
But
it.
you should have eaten it an hour ago so that you could have just been stoned as fuck on the
I
podcast.
don't trust myself to come on and talk shit when I'm high. So that's
Some days.
huh? I've been drunk
There's a
on the
Patreon recording,
podcast,
just-
but I've never been high. No, that would be a good experiment. Writing it down. Hold on.
Yeah, man.
Or it would be intolerable and then we just like turn you off.
Well, no,
Actually,
it's
you
not-
know what? I'm actually pretty fucking cool when I'm high. Like I think I'm cool
Well,
sober
then why haven't you been doing that this whole time?
because I like to make people suffer.
Which is the opposite
This is
of
how
being
she gets
cool.
her joy.
I think I'm actually like I mean, my friends have been around me. Steph, you were around me once and you're like, whoa, this is not the Missy that I've been around prior to this. And I was like, I don't give a shit.
I do think that there's a lot of girls out there that when they get drunk, they aren't accurately assessing themselves. Like they're like,
that's most drunk people. That's most drunk people.
I will speak specifically to the girls that I've had to deal with. I'm speaking from personal experience of like, they'll say something like, oh, I'm this, that, and the other when I'm drunk. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're like annoying. And we have to like to make sure that no one crosses your path the wrong way. And we have to, you know what I mean? Like the accurately assessing yourself when you're drunk. I would love
starting a fight with a fire hydrant kind of drunk. Like
or like if you were stoned, Missy, and all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, I'm more chill when I'm stoned. It's really just you're the embodiment of that commercial of the girl with no bones, where she's just like,
no, Jeffrey, if you're still watching, I need you to chime in, please.
Jeff
I like the metric system.
Better because 12.7 centimeters sounds way bigger than 5 inches.
I don't know. Centimeter still doesn't help. The moment you hear centimeter, you're like,
let him have it. He's American.
12.7. That sounds.
It sounds specific. Did you Google like the exact fucking?
You had a very specific ruler that day.
You don't have to Google it anymore. You just talk to Siri.
Siri, how big is my dick?
Hey Siri, what's 5 inches in centimeters?
5 inches is 12.7 centimeters.
You think Jeffrey would throw a random number on that?
Yes.
No.
I don't think he would expect for us to be like, excuse me, we're going to fact check you, Jeffrey of fucking West.
So coming in hot, ScarJo gets dropped by Disney. Reese Witherspoon gets her coin, and How I Met Your Father gets casted.
Oh.
Cast.
Yeah.
Just saying the title of the show so we don't get accused of false advertising.
True. And then what do they do? They're going to pull their money? Like...
they would have to sign up for the Patreon at WuBro Pod right here. Send us money on the cash app and then cancel it.
Scarlett Johansson had a movie with Disney with the Haunted Mansion. Was it Haunted Mansion or the elevator ride?
Tower of Terror.
Tower of Terror. She was
the elevator ride.
And Tower of Terror. And it got put on hold indefinitely.
So the lawsuit settled.
So they're holding it over her head then?
Wow.
Well, they to use Jeffrey's joke, it seems like the project got dropped.
Oh my God. Listen, he's been on a dad joke bender, and I'm really trying to do everything I can to make him stop, and he just keeps going.
It got dropped. Yeah, it's weird though. It's weird that they would pause a movie with such a high profile star. I wonder what happened. I wonder if there's anything.
I wonder if there's any.
I wonder if she's trying to take them for $50 million.
I hope.
The studio.
I'm on her side with that stuff.
Everybody's on her side.
Everybody's on her side.
People that wear the fucking Disney fucking name tag still on her side. Like, I got nothing.
Wow. Stupid. Besides giving Tower of Terror the kibosh, the studio is also closing the door on any potential future projects with Johansson. Like
kibosh. What's
kibosh?
Did you mean
like
put the kibosh?
Oh.
Kibosh.
Picture like kibosh? A mafioso dude saying it.
We're focusing on the wrong part of the sentence. That they closed forever.
I mean, money talks.
I mean, time heals all wounds. But also, if she wins $50 million, there's other movie studios that would fucking gladly.
The problem is that Disney's buying so many of them.
Well, Marvel still operates.
It's gonna have to go back to her indie roots for a while.
Marvel still operates on their own. So even if they're owned by Disney, Marvel still.
And Woody Allen is canceled, so she's got audition now.
No, she's actually they're showing a bunch of stuff that she's with you. Like you could clearly see that the footprints or the path has been laid out because she's got something with Universal, she's got something with A24, that indie, which I want to see the Green Knight. Has anybody seen the trailer for Green Knight? That looks so good.
And it looks super cool, but I'm afraid of COVID, so I'm not going to the movies right now.
I mean, yes, you're where you are. Yes, where I am, and then she was also going to do a remake of Little Shop of Horrors with Chris Evans. for a Warner Brothers.
You know what? If Bubba wants her on that movie, I bet you she goes back on that movie. Chris Evans.
Chris Evans is Bubba. Is that who he is now?
Anybody can be Bubba.
Oh, okay. But yeah, no, they're gonna do.
I can see Chris Evans as a Bubba.
Well,
there's certain people that doesn't suit, but I think
we've already seen Chris Evans Bubba.
No,
it never did.
Oh, excuse me.
I lost out.
Let's send you. You're gonna get dick pics texted to you.
Oh man,
that was
it'll be like a flashback.
I really was
I would like to not be a part of.
I'm not sending it to all of us. I'm sending it to her.
I'm not. No. The sending of pictures that are clearly weren't intended for public use or public display of a person.
I mean, if you're gonna ruin it with morals.
How dare there be the double standard?
Mike, you can't do that. You can't because you're talking about a male body. So
yeah,
apparently.
No, like the thing is, I was like, damn, like
so soon. It's only been 15 minutes. Oh my god!
I can't believe 15. Oh, so if it would have happened later, it would have been fine. No, come on. I would like to voice my look. You're an independent woman. You can do whatever you want, but I would like to voice my disapproval of sending.
He's just gonna be that little that little angel right there, being like
anybody who did not want naked pictures of them on the internet, and it was a mistake and an accident. And then if it would be a person of any other gender, it would be like, oh, you got to respect their wishes and not send it because they didn't want it sent.
Not true. That didn't happen. That didn't happen to Jennifer Lawrence, and it didn't happen to a bunch of actors.
Yeah, what do you think about all the people who did it? Who spread those pictures and leaked those pictures?
I mean, I was just gonna she missed out, so I was just gonna show her what she missed out on. I'm not just sending it like, hey, look, is like
that's okay then. No.
Come on. To be fair, I share all the pictures, no matter what the gender. So that's where I stand.
You're equal opportunity scumbag.
Yeah, I'm an equal opportunity.
I don't know where on the moral spectrum that lies. Like, I am an asshole to
I don't pick. Yeah, but I don't pick and choose which gender to be like. Oh, that's not right. I send it. I send all the pictures.
Do you remember when the video?
First of all, save them on my phone, Stephanie. You can look at me and judge me all you want. I'm fine with that. I saved them all on a little secret folder that it's supposed to be a calendar, but it's not really a calendar, and that's fine. It's fine with me.
It's one of those secret apps with a password.
Yeah.
The calculator
why does the calculator have a password on it?
That's hilarious. Jeff says, where are we at? There's a lot of comments that came in. Shit, Jesus Christ. He posted, I don't know who he's talking about. He posted, he passed the order and threatened to withhold.
We read
that already.
DeSantis being a piece of shit.
Sorry. So I like to mention them, and then Hilda put, so like drunk history that it's drunk WuBro.
Hi WuBro.
Remember
Hi bro.
Jeff, listen to me. Mike, remember when we thought about doing that? We were like, we should, like, because I don't drink.
Because neither one of us are. Yeah, I'm not drinking anymore much either.
Yeah. So I do.
My tolerance is so much lower now post pregnancy.
Yes.
Something about 9 months off.
I get told that when I drink, and I don't drink often, but when I do drink, I get told that I'm very fun. Everybody around is like, you should drink more often, which makes me sad about my sober.
What, is sober me a dick?
Yeah, I was like, why? I mean, no, but you're all right. I mean, when you're cool when you're sober, but when you're drunk, you're really fun. And I was like, oh, okay.
I'll try not to be insulted by that too much.
Jeff says non-high Missy would fact check me,
and she did.
Tower of Terror and puns. Jeff says Missy's full of shit. She sends me TikToks every day of dad jokes.
I like to enable my friends. Sure,
like a good friend,
but I wanted to stop. But I also wanted to stop. What's the problem?
Here's more fuel for this fire I want to put out.
Hilda says the Green Knight is so good, and she just saw it.
I am.
So what is it out? What is the Green Knight?
It's the story. I think it's one of the like the King Arthur and the Round Table.
No, it's an Irish poem. And if there's a video on their TikTok page, on the Green Knight's Instagram page, I'm sorry, that explains like what the fuck the Green Knight is, and it does a great job of explaining like the mythology of it and where it came from, and then how now the movie's out. Like, but they did a great job. because I didn't know what the fuck the Green Knight was about at all. I didn't know anything about it. And then I saw the Instagram video and I was like, oh, this shit does seem very, very interesting.
Sir Gawain and the Green Knight is the late 14th century Middle English chivalric romance. One of the best known we're both right. Arthurian stories. Because it is a knight. It describes how
what the Instagram story told me, man.
Yeah, but it's a king. But it describes how Sir Gawain, a knight of King Arthur's Round Table, accepts a challenge from a mysterious green knight who dares any knight to strike him with his axe if he will, whatever, blah blah blah.
Yeah. So basically, this the Green Knight was a guy, the King Arthur knight. He was on the Round Table, but he saw no action. Like he was just he lacked the excitement, and he didn't have one of those.
Oh, green as an unexperienced. Got it.
And
cool.
so then they went, and so he went and suck out this challenge. Is that how you say it? Sought out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I got it.
We can get there eventually. Yeah.
Guys, but hey, let me get there, man.
I'm dying to see it. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I'm not dying to see it. I don't think but I'll watch it. I don't want to die for it, but I think it'll be fun. Did you guys watch the Suicide Squad?
Yes,
the Suicide Squad. I did watch it. I watched it at home. I didn't watch it at the movies.
Well, I watched it at home 3 times, and I really want to go to the movie theater to watch it because it's not doing good in the movie theater. But there's that. So.
Yeah, well, I watched it at home just because I have a child and I don't want to bother people.
Nobody goes to the movies in my theater, in my neighborhood theater. Nobody.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've been there twice, and it's been me and like 2 other people, like 4 rows in front of me.
Do you go during the day?
I no. One time I saw a Quiet Place 2 at night. It was like 7 o'clock at night, but there was.
I
love
going during the day.
I can't watch that. Watching TikTok, and then I was just, of course I was on my TikTok, and then scrolling, and then one of the scenes popped up, and I was
a Quiet Place.
Mess. Yes, The Quiet Place 2. A scene popped up, and I immediately started bawling, crying, and then I walked out of the room, looked at Dave, I'm like, we're never watching that movie. It looks so good, but it looks so good, and I've heard so many good things.
Wait,
I can't.
See part 1?
No, I never saw part 1.
Oh, that's
Look,
I've heard really good things. I've been in a weird place with movies since the pregnancy and since COVID and my mental health space. There's certain movies I have to be careful with what I watch.
You then.
Yeah.
I get it too, also because there have been movies that have come out that are sad, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to watch. I'm already sad. I don't need to be, I'm good. I want to watch fun, happy stuff or
I need
goofy,
escapism things.
something. I need to escape. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I totally get that. So if something if I were to watch Contagion right now, I'd be like why would I do that to myself?
No,
there were people I know at the beginning of COVID that they were watching Outbreak, Contagion, the 28 Days Later, and all of the disease movies, and I'm just like, what are you doing to yourself? And I just couldn't bring myself.
Have you checked in with them? Are they okay?
Yeah, they're the ones that didn't give a shit about COVID, and they were like, haha, isn't it ironic that they were like, oh, how funny, oh my god, the movies are about this deadly disease, and now there's a deadly disease out there. Whatever.
Topical.
Yolanda says,
I actually had a Contagion moment at the end of my trip, so I'll let you finish the comment and then I'll tell you.
Yolanda says, we have a grandson tonight. We have the grandson tonight listening to you through the earbuds, stuck in SpongeBob hell. I understand. Yolanda, you are singing to the choir here, my friend. Vanessa says, yeah, the last handful of years, I've refused to watch sad/tear jerkers.
She'll send you sad videos, though. She'll send you sad tear jerker.
Please don't.
Jerker. She does.
She made me turn off. The other day we did a Mount Geekmore episode on Robin Williams movies, and my number 1 was What Dreams May Come. And then after we recorded the movie, I went to go watch What Dreams May Come, and my wife came out in the living room. She's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" She was like, "What the fuck is wrong?" I'm like, "It's a good movie. I love this movie. I don't understand." And she's like, "It's fucking turn this shit off." I'm like, "Oh boy, you're right, sir. Turn it off." I don't even think she told me to turn it off. I just think that the way she said, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
told you.
Went beyond.
When you look by the door behind you.
Yeah, it went beyond like the regular like this is I was like, oh boy, all right, cool. But yeah, I enjoyed the Suicide Squad. I thought it was fucking super fun. Uh shit, I mean I was laughing out loud. It was
Yes.
really
I
fucking
love
good.
King Shark.
I will
so much.
tell you exactly the line that
King Shark is baby.
King Shark is baby. I will tell you exactly.
I don't want to spoil a movie. It's been out for a weekend. I don't want to spoil the movie for somebody who hasn't watched it. So I don't want to give actual scenes, but I was
Everybody
laughing.
dies.
I was laughing. I mean, the title of the movie is called Suicide.
Yeah, somebody get that. Someone
There's
got that.
stuff. The way the movie started, I was like, yeah, this is full James Gunn. So has anyone ever seen like Tromaville James Gunn stuff?
No.
Oh, like Romeo and Juliet. I saw.
I hate.
It sucks. I do not like those movies.
Like, I remember when the whole thing happened with James Gunn getting fired from Marvel, and people were like shocked at his like old jokes. I'm like, do you guys not remember where he started?
Yeah. Those Trauma films, and the guy, I forget his name right now, but the head of Trauma has been in every one of his movies since. If you go back and watch Slither, Slither is fucking. I can't watch Slither again. Slither made me physically ill. It's sick to my stomach.
He's good at that. He's really good at that.
This movie did the same kind of thing. There was moments in this movie where I was like, you know, like,
but
don't you work in the medical field?
It did it very effectively.
Yeah, but it was
like,
I'm a little worried about. You're like the sight of blood. I can't.
No, it wasn't the sight of blood. It was the sight of blood.
You're not like in a camera panning into something.
Yeah.
Like you're not. There's no special effects around it, and it's not splattering. Well, not always splattering your face.
I mean, there's a difference if I'm like working than if I'm just like watching it. But Slither is different because it was like monster gore, like, and also like I guess I have a little bit of the trypophobia. You know that fear of the like natural circle holes.
Oh, I was to say Polka Dot Man probably fucked with you.
Not Polka Dot Man, fucking Starro. Like,
oh yeah,
whatever, yeah. And I would watch. I was watching, and every time it would open up the arm or the leg, you know, the body would kind of like open up and show the inside, the little suckers. I'd be like, you know, like,
did it to you?
Yes, but that's the thing. I can't control that part. Like, if you see, like, there's certain coral that does it to me, and when you see,
so you really have it hardcore then, like you have.
It doesn't like I can tolerate it. Like I don't have to run away from it.
It just
like,
icks you,
but it just gives me that the like hair on the back of my neck and where I'm just like,
heebie-jeebies.
Yes.
Yeah. So like I think Suicide Squad is this really great balance of like seeing how James Gunn's style has grown, like has one really grown, how he's able to like actually rein it in for a particular subject, because he's not Romeo and Juliet James Gunn. He's still himself with his certain sensibilities, and being able to really shock you
and his senses.
What?
What did you say?
He was making a sense and
sensibilities.
He was making a literature joke. I like it.
Fucking book, people. Read
that was a particular niche I really enjoy. I loved it. It was like
I will say this: Margot Robbie fucking crushed it. She did like. I'm so happy.
Does.
Like she's the only one.
Everybody crushed it. There's not a weak link in that fucking movie. John Cena, which gets an enormous amount of hate.
John Cena crushed
that role tailor made for him. It's like douchey overachiever, and John Cena was like, "Got you, got it."
I'll suck all these dicks in this beach. There was so many lines.
Whitey's. Oh, it's everybody. Idris Elba and his natural British accent. Good God, man. Good God. Like everybody fucking crushed it. Yeah. King Shark was amazing. Everybody just
friend. Nom nom.
And then
friend.
before anything, like when King Shark was like first talking, and I was talking about like, I'm like, his voice is kind of endearing. My like partner was agreeing and stuff like that. I'm like, I bet you anything, knowing James Gunn, it's like a really big person actually voicing him.
Oh, you did
like someone really nice. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh well, there you go.
Yeah.
So I didn't place it when he didn't talk enough for me to place it.
No, I just knew from beforehand when
I didn't know beforehand. No.
I knew when they announced it.
He posted a picture of King Shark wearing the Rocky Balboa stars and striped shorts.
No, I didn't see that.
I figured that was him.
Yeah. The stuff I thought that they actually used Harley like the perfect amount. Like it didn't become a Harley vehicle, which
No.
people would have probably had issue with. I love Harley, so I wouldn't have given a shit. But like, I think it would have suffered if it would have been just another Harley and the Suicide Squad rather than letting her have her own movies and her being part of it. Because that's the whole point of Suicide Squad. I actually really enjoyed.
And Milton, we haven't talked about Milton.
Milton has been here the whole time?
I thought you were Milton. That was such a good bit.
I think I would remember Milton. I think I would remember if Milton was with
like, why is that mouse waving at me?
Yeah, man, there's so much good in that movie. I don't want to spoil my favorite line. I was like, I literally burst out laughing. Like it was like it stole the laugh from me. Was when they're like, nobody likes to show off, and he's like, yeah, everybody likes to show off if they're showing off dope shit. And he's like, fuck, he's right.
Nobody likes to show off unless what you're showing off is dope as fuck.
Shit. Yeah, dope as fuck.
John Cena, when he's not being his the John Cena of his when he's not doing his wrestling gimmick, I like him a lot more. I just hate his wrestling gimmick. So I very much enjoyed John Cena.
Yeah,
I feel like it was kind of like his wrestling gimmicks like evil universe, like John Cena's wrestling gimmick, because his wrestling gimmick is like he's this pure good, like you can't see me guy, and he's like this badass whatever, and he's always
been a baby face, and actually I think he holds the records for granting the most wishes for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, so he's like genuinely a good guy. I just hate his fucking gimmick, but that's just because of my wrestling, like my whole gripe with professional wrestling, not John Cena as a person, just the gimmick.
So you have a whole level of this that I will never understand, because like I've just never really
I'm putting the brakes because I could go on and on.
Yeah. His head looks like a toilet bowl.
Character arc.
Mm-hmm.
No, but
the helicopter drop in the beginning. I laughed out. I paused the movie. I was cackling, laughing out loud when they were dropping into the water, and I couldn't. Again, I'm not gonna ruin it for anybody who hasn't seen it, but holy.
Every name is Lettuce, dickhead. I love that.
Was anyone else really impressed with the scene with Viola Davis and Idris Elba?
Yo, Viola Davis is the fucking best. She is so goddamn good. It is insane how like she embodied that role. And then I've seen her in stuff where like I love her. Like she's so like she's just so
she just
good.
brings another level to the character.
When those two I want them to work together again, because their interaction was that was the first time I was like, did you see? And Harry's like, that's what we're talking about, because there was a lot that happened. I'm like, yeah, but
I loved The Office.
Chemistry was great.
The best part of so compared to the first one, this movie trimmed a lot of the fat because there was like 16 different characters, and the way they introduced them, because they had to do they introduced all of them. The way they introduced that Suicide Squad at the beginning, where they're placing bets on who's gonna die. What a smart way to do that, where they're like,
everybody. They didn't introduce everybody. I don't know who the fuck this guy from SNL played. I have no idea who the fuck he played.
Pete Davidson?
Yeah, Pete Davidson. I don't know who he played.
Blackguard.
But I don't need to know. I don't give a fuck who he
played.
But
that's they're at least referencing them.
They didn't introduce everybody, and they didn't need to, which is the point. Like, it's a Suicide Squad. Who gives a fuck? Not everybody's important, and we'll figure this out.
But that's good, because that actually goes with the whole.
Look, he's dead. It doesn't matter. Like that's like it doesn't. You know what I mean? Like I thought it was very well done. I've been following the dude that directed. I forget his name. I'm blanking on the names. I'm really bad with names. I should get better. The director of the first Suicide Squad, and
David Ayer.
David Ayer, and he has a legitimate gripe with the film that was released, and he has. Much like the Zack Snyder thing, he's like, that's not the movie that I made. I did not. Right. That's not the movie I made. Like, the first one. He wasn't allowed to edit his film. They brought in somebody. They brought in a different. You know what they did? I didn't realize this. So apparently, the trailer for Suicide Squad, right? They get people to make a trailer. They get a company to make it. The trailer was so popular, for the original Suicide Squad, that they then hired that company to edit the movie.
That's stupid.
And instead of the director either editing or picking his own editor, they got another third party, because like, oh, people are loving this trailer. Let's get this company to do it. So all of this shit I'm learning now and whatever, and I'm like, I feel bad for
you can't have the style of a sizzle reel and then like let that extend for 2 hours, whatever.
Yeah, James
whatever
Gunn.
the runtime
Jeff
is.
is talking about James Gunn thanked David Ayer in the credits for this one. He did.
Good.
The detachable kid was
Yeah, that was good.
If you go back to listen to the third episode of the Mount Geekmore podcast, I don't even know if it's possible to go back that far. But if you listen to it, it's literally us, the Mount Rushmore of worst superhero powers or worst comic book character powers. And a lot of these characters came up in this episode.
On it.
That man came up in this episode. Fucking the detachable kid came up in this episode. Like there was a lot of them. Again, we did this 5 years ago. This episode aired 5 years ago, and I'm watching this movie going like, "Oh yeah, okay, I remember this now." And it was bonkers. I love that movie. I thought it was fucking great, and I'm beside myself on how I've seen people on social media talk shit about this movie. And I
don't get it.
I haven't seen much hate on it though.
I haven't seen much hate on it, but the hate that I've seen is from the stereotypical Marvel fanboys, the shit that I call Marvel fan. It's like, it's one of those like, I don't know, man. I just didn't get it. I just, like they were trying to make it too much Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm like
why not?
They're not. Look, there's going to be a certain amount of influence in some places, but it's not even. It's not.
One comment that I read was like, you could tell they're really trying really hard to make it feel like a Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm like, you mean the same director?
Yeah, and like the only other connecting factor is it's a bunch of rejects trying to do a particular goal together and having to come together. That's it. Literally, that's it. But that's the basis of a lot of movies. Like you can say the same shit about. I don't know,
you tell me the Scorsese movies don't all kind of have a theme running through them.
Yeah,
aren't they mostly,
you know what I mean? Like, come on.
Aren't they mostly all gangster movies?
That's the
I'm
point.
not familiar
They're
with
all about organized crime.
Yeah, and old people killing each other. Or am I nuts?
Yeah, no, that the whole Irishman was so dumb that they had like
I couldn't finish it. I
didn't
wanted
even
to.
start it. Like,
didn't even bother.
I wanted to, but I couldn't.
You're not the only one, BFF. There's not.
So,
I mean, I finished it in pieces. Like I've sat through back-to-back viewings of Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I watched the Irishman in pieces. I was like, all right, I guess today's
so
homework.
long and so
45 minutes
boring.
of this shit. It's a very interesting story, but it just takes I don't need to see that many road trip breaks, like that many cigarette breaks on the road trip. I don't need to see that many. Like just show me one and I'm fine. You don't need to show me three. Like
is that another one of things where should trim the fat
communicate that they're addicted to tobacco? Like, 3 times is enough.
Yeah.
3 times is enough.
So
once is enough. Like, we get it. It took oh man. You could have just come back and be like, man, I can't believe that road trip took us 6 hours. Like, whoa, okay, that's it. That's all. We don't need to see the 6 hours, Marty. We don't actually need a fucking experience.
Marty?
Yeah, I don't.
Is he your homie?
Yeah, well, not really. The way he talks shit about fucking superhero movies.
He's just trying to give advice. Like that's his advice tone for him. Is Marty?
Well,
yeah. Marty doesn't listen to anyone. I feel.
Well, you know what? Also, like Marty didn't have the studios forcing edits on him and changing his movies either. You know what I mean? Like
because he's from the cinema time of Hollywood.
Because he's from a different time where the thing like I was just looking it up. The guy who it was. There's a director named Joe Lynch who was like up and coming, and then he went on the Nerdist podcast and he talked about how he made a movie called Knights of Badassdom about LARPing, and then someone got and then there was like a real alien invasion and some crazy shit started happening. But it's supposed to be like this dope movie. It was really funny. Peter Dinklage is in it. A bunch of people are in it. And it was supposed to be awesome, where they literally fucked him out of an edit. Like he was going to Alan Smithy it. Do you know what an Alan Smithy is?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
No.
So
I only know the doctor, not the filmmaker.
Alan Smithy is a name that you could put in a credit when you don't want to be associated with a certain project.
Oh, right.
So you can see Alan. I forget what
like
the female version
writer?
of Alan Smithy is. I forget what the.
I don't remember. I don't know what the female version is.
But is it like the same concept as a ghostwriter?
No, it's when you're ashamed of a project that you don't want to put your name on it.
Yeah.
So it's like Alan Smithy. If you ever see Alan Smithy on something, it's because someone didn't want.
They didn't want to be on there. So he
I didn't know that.
The movie that was released was literally like they basically fired him, but they still were going to put his name on it. And there was something he went on the Nerdist podcast about and he told the whole story like with zero filter. If you can find it, it's episode 653, and it's a story about how this guy, he used to edit porn. That was how he got started in the film industry. He edited.
A lot of people get started.
And he
editing.
Is that entry level filmmaking?
He talked about editing.
Look, porn has editing because porn has a lot of things you have to get around.
Yeah, I mean,
I was offered an editing job for porn right out of school.
Really?
I was. The problem is I was offered. The problem is I was offered the role right in front of my dad, so I couldn't take it.
Wait, you said role. You're talking about the job to edit, not a role.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Mike's like, I need clarification.
Yeah, I mean,
for a fucking role in acting, she's not good enough for an acting role.
I'm not passing judgment. I'm not passing judgment. I'm just saying.
No,
so they
straight up was told like 70K plus.
Yeah, you make money. That's the allure. I know someone who designed.
How do you not give the eyes? Like,
look at this one. He's like 70 grand. What do I have to do?
Because it's in front of my dad. I couldn't. And I was just
how do you not give the eyes and be like, I don't think that's a good idea. And then point over and be like, I don't know. You have a card? I don't think that's going to happen. But if you have a card.
If I was in front of my dad would, and I said, no, and my dad would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, take $70,000.
I wish my dad would be in front of me for that conversation.
But you got a woman. You wouldn't do that to your daughter. You wouldn't fucking be like, go ahead, honey, take a job in porn.
If my mom would have been there, she would have been like, Mike, what the fuck are you doing? She'd be like, what are you doing? Go edit that porn.
Yeah.
No, my mom might have been more pragmatic about it. She might have at the moment been like, ha, no, and afterwards been like, but you got their details.
I know someone.
Yeah,
I know someone who built websites where they were in early web development, and they built some sort of server for video. It was like this big deal. It was for God, I can't remember the name of the company. It was one of those. What are the cable box channels? It was a
music box.
No. It was with a porn cable box channel. There's a baby crying. It's making
internet.
Spice?
Is it
Adam and Eve?
Oh,
okay, I'm like static, white static, and then
there's a baby crying. So like in my mind, God. I'm like, oh, that feels weird to talk about porn when there's a baby crying.
He can't hear us though, right?
No, but yeah.
I muted you.
He's censoring you.
Yeah,
censoring. I'm
just joking. Jesus.
But he built
the baby. I'm like, we don't allow that kind of talk here. Sorry.
Fuck them kids.
Yeah. Butthole editing, but please, this baby talking in his natural. No.
Yeah. No, so he built this entire website structure server thing for this company and made a shit ton of money, and his application is licensed, so he still makes money from certain websites that do credit card process or some shit like that. I don't know, but he's that started him off as a web designer and a programmer and a software engineer and all that shit. And he is and he was ashamed of saying it, and now he goes back and he talks about it as haha, isn't it funny that I started?
Yeah. There's a little bit. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of
Yeah, he's ashamed of it, and he wipes his tears with $100 bills.
I could handle that kind of shame.
Yeah,
I'm not even.
I'm so ashamed. I think I'm gonna have to take a month off on my yacht.
I need a mental health month.
Yeah, just to take it in.
Jeff says that he has a friend that did that, and that he sees a lot of buttholes, and that you have to edit every type of porn out there. You can't pick and choose what kind of porn.
Oh, interesting.
I'll still take that job.
Is there
Chiquita says that her dad would have tried to steal that porn editing job. And Vanessa says starfish is slang for butthole. Any connection?
What a good line.
So
but if you want to but just bring it back around. If you want to listen to that episode, it's a very good insight into how mad he was. It was because it also kind of derailed him as a young director. How you get labeled as hard to work with. You're never going to get these big jobs anymore. That kind of thing. So it's what do you do? And he is no tiene pelo en la lengua. He does not cover his tracks at all. He's burning every bridge as he talks. It's wild to hear somebody so honest about where they're they fucked me.
Some directors just want to watch the industry burn.
Watch the bridge burn.
Their own career burn. Some directors just want to watch their own careers burn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of different career steps, I'm trying to lead us into
what's happening.
Reese Witherspoon.
Oh,
I'm trying to lead us into
Reese Witherspoon.
I was like, are you going to share something? What's going on?
She's collecting her coins, y'all.
Reese Witherspoon collecting her coins, like.
Yeah.
And
I don't know the story.
Who
wants to tell me the story?
The richest actress on earth.
So she started her production company in 2016 called Hello Sunshine.
Yeah.
And the whole idea mission statement of the company was to tell stories about women that were made by women, so books, scripts, whatever. And so she's built it from the ground up and just sold it to this company called Blackstone for $900 million. The problem that the internet is having is that Blackstone, the corporation, not the segment of the business that she sold like this to, just Blackstone as a corporation, likes to evict people and leave them homeless. And they're very shady with their eviction notices and being landlords and shit like that. And so Twitter's like,
how's that connected to the movie production?
So Twitter's saying that it's how are you supposed to consolidate the fact that Reese Witherspoon has become such a powerhouse in the entertainment industry for telling women's story, and then she sells her company to two white guys, to a company that is infamous for their really fucked up practices when it comes to being landlords.
I think the way
I don't know how much
the way she does it is laughing all the way to and from the bank. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, that's crazy. Are you supposed to not make, like, I don't understand this country specifically is so weird. Yeah. It's all about capitalism until a certain point, and then a certain limit, and then you could only make a certain amount of money before people are like, whoa, not like, am I supposed to do all the research on everybody that I fucking sell my company? Like, I don't give a, you know what I mean? We literally just talked about,
there are teams for that. There are, like, admittedly, there are teams for that.
We literally just talked about people taking jobs editing porn. Good for them. Get your money. Everybody's like, yeah, bro, I would fucking do it in front of my dad. I don't give a fuck. Everybody here was like, all cool about it. But then it's like, well, you're selling your company to another company that other company is known for this. It's like, I don't give what. Okay.
Well, to be fair, I didn't say I had a problem with it. I just said Twitter had a problem with it.
No. I know you didn't have a problem with it specifically. I'm just talking about it in general.
Yeah. That's why the people, you the public.
$900 million, bro. Get your money. We started from the bottom. Now we're here, Reese. Good for you, bro. Good for you.
Well, she's not exactly a rags to riches story, but that she has definitely made a place for herself.
But she started the company from the bottom up. She started from the company.
She leveraged it though with like millions of investment of her own money. I'm not saying that hasn't earned and she hasn't produced like amazing stories, and was behind her production company was behind Gone Girl and Big Little Lies and Wild and a bunch of other great fucking movies that have come out in these past 5-6 years.
Sorry, bro. She made Sweet Home Alabama. She could do no wrong.
I love that movie.
Fuck yeah, I love that movie. What? Are you out of your mind? Love that movie.
So I can kiss you all the time.
You know my favorite part about my favorite thing about that movie is that the guy that she ended up leaving is not an asshole. It just showed a movie of like, look, the guy
just
doesn't
preference.
have to be. It just doesn't have to be an asshole. Like every fucking romantic comedy is like, you're gonna be with that guy, but they're so wrong for you. You should be with this other person instead. And this movie is like, no, he's really nice, super rich.
She just doesn't love him.
She just doesn't love him.
Yeah,
and
she just has a connection with this person.
Yeah, shout out to that. That's great. That's
you know what other movie does this really well? You've Got Mail. There's a breakup scene. That girl was in Freeway, leave her alone. You've Got Mail has a scene like that where it's like a couple that's
Bill Pullman.
Doesn't love each other. That's not Bill Pullman.
It was Greg Kinnear.
Greg Kinnear.
That's what it was.
That white guy.
They're all the same. They're all the same guy.
Don't get me started on You've Got Mail. That is one of my favorite romantic comedies.
Sleepless in Seattle. I'm confusing with Sleepless in
Seattle. Okay.
Seattle
well, that was a similar situation, but in You've Got Mail, there's like a breakup scene, and usually breakup scenes in movies are like awful, right? Like somebody fucked up or whatever. And he just takes her to dinner, and he's trying to get it out, and she's like, "You don't love me," and he's like, "No." And she's like, me neither. And then immediately the next second, they're like BFFs. They're like, this is so weird. We're perfect for each other. Like, that's such a great, like, I wish if I could like guarantee a breakup like that, it would be
I have
great.
a friend that did have a breakup like that. I had a
No.
friend. I swear to God, I have a friend. She was a manager at a comedy club down here, and then she moved to Phoenix. And she's a phenomenal human being. Like everybody who meets her is like and I went and did a show out there, and I was talking to her, catching up with her. I hadn't seen her in years. And then I was like, "Oh, how are you?" And she's like, "Yeah, we broke up." And I was like, "Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that." She's like, "No, it was fine." Like it got to a point. She literally said it got to a point like both of us were working so much where she looked at him and she goes, "We're just basically roommates, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I know." And then they were like, and then they literally were like, but not in a
That's great.
Not in shots fired.
Yeah, like conversationally, like as a matter of fact, because that is a very big red flag. That
and he felt the same way, and he was like, "Yeah, we're just and then they still care about each other as human beings." But I
love that. See, breakups don't have to be like awful. They can be.
And I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Wait a minute, so you didn't tell him that he's too nice?" Huh? Okay.
What do you mean?
That's the way. That's the only way.
Everybody I've never broken up with a girl, and every girl that's ever broken up with me has always been like, "You're too nice." That's literally what they've said to me in one way.
To you?
Me.
Yeah, that's the funny part.
Oh, fuck off, you guys. That's what. I'm bearing my soul.
What? I'm just trying to process. I'm trying to collect all the facts of the situation.
People who fucking have who have the possibility of giving me a vagina, I'm fucking real nice.
That checks out. Check.
Okay.
That checks out. That's why you got Vanessa two coffees today.
Yeah,
that's what you got her 2 coffees today.
I wish I could take credit for that, but I got to Starbucks and they were like, so this is for Vanessa, and I go, yeah, and she goes, so I made the order, but I made it hot by mistake, so she ordered it cold. Do you just want to take the extra one? And I was like, yes, I'll just take the extra. Like,
free stuff, absolutely. Give me that.
Charging me? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. What am I gonna say no to that? Like, no, please throw it away.
I'm sorry. Let's
You're gonna punch me in the balls? Is it free?
Wait, so when they have broken up with you, they have, and this has happened to you too, Mike, where they're like, you're too nice?
No, I've gotten we shouldn't go out because you're too nice or whatever. We should just be friends.
Yeah, we should.
When I've been trying to be romantic,
one way or another. Maybe the initial sentence out of their mouth wasn't "you're too nice," but within the conversation,
like the general message, right.
But within the conversation, the words of "you're too nice" have definitely. You're very.
You're such a nice guy.
Such a nice guy. Like that's all.
Oh, that's courteous.
All the same.
Because all I got was I'm already fucking somebody else.
That I would understand. I even got it from that girl who was like, "I'm already fucking another girl." But you're still too nice. Like I still got that from that person.
I don't understand that though. Like that's such a stupid fucking reason to break up with some. You're too nice. I would much rather for you to be abusive and an asshole. Like what?
I said that was part of my act. One of my very first jokes that I ever said on stage.
I don't get it.
You're too nice, and I was like, that's like getting fired for going to work on time. That makes no sense whatsoever. That's like, did you just clock in on time? I need to see you in my office real quick. Yeah.
Nah, let's
first
be realistic.
Warning.
Let's be realistic about what that. Well, let's be exactly what it means is that there's real reasons for me to break up with you, but I don't want to hurt your feelings. So I'm going to say that that's like
it's a new version. I used to call it the 2003 version of "It's not you, it's me." It's just that you're not into me. That's all it is. You're just not. He's just not that into you.
So what's the problem with just being forthcoming and going, look, I'm just not into you.
There's no problem with it. There's no problem with it. Rejection is kindness. Rejection is kindness.
Redirection.
No, it's kindness. It's you care enough about a person to you respect them enough to be honest with them. That's what rejection is.
Well, I'm gonna amend that and say honesty is kindness.
Honesty is kindness. Yes.
Not rejection, because rejection can also be fucking rude.
Cruel. It can be actually really messy.
Yeah, rejection could be cruel as well.
Long term, it's a kindness.
But honesty is always kindness. Like
honesty, yeah, because
I'm going to tell you the truth. This is the truth. It is. So I get that. I never got angry at them. I was just like, what? Am I supposed to treat you like shit? Like I could hit you in the face if you want. Like is that what you want? Like,
I don't know. I just think that a lot of dating.
Stephanie was like, I mean, it could help, man.
I think that a lot of dating is
that's a very specific thing they're into. I don't know.
Both parties like projecting what they think the other person wants to hear.
Yes. Yes.
So like there are men who think let me finish. There are men who think in apps that what they're trying to do, like what you're looking for is obviously to get married and have kids, and that's what you want. And then that's not, I mean, that's not what I want. I just would love to like
I've had that argument with people before.
And then they're women who project their own bullshit onto, oh, this is what they're looking for, so this is what I'm gonna be. Yeah. And it's like, let them tell you.
So Missy, have you had that conversation with a guy before where all of a sudden they're like, well, you know what? I'm just not ready to like settle down and get married and have kids. And I'm like, and you're like, bitch, I didn't ask.
Yeah,
like
that has happened. And I'm like,
I didn't choose you.
I'm like, if you proposed, I would run for the fucking hills. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Why?
So,
exactly.
There is I think a big deal about like an epidemic of people dating people they don't like or fucking people they don't like.
What is it that you said one time? The angry load is the most fertile.
Yeah, those are the ones that, because watch out, those are the ones that get you pregnant. The ones, the people you hate. If you hate fuck anybody, watch out, because that's when you start slipping up. That's when you start making mistakes.
Yeah.
When you're just like and then suddenly it's like, oh, I missed my period. It's like, ooh, and this person is the last person on earth you want to be tied to for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That's the one that's gonna get you.
Correct.
Yeah, I was afraid of that. I had one in college that 100% that relationship completely came out of just, it was a petty hookup. It was me hooking him up to prove something. Being like, the reason you hate on me so much is because you freaking want me, and that's why. Like, so that's why you're
like, wait.
He hates on you.
Like he was hating on you,
or hating on you.
Not hating on.
Hating.
Like would debate. It was one of those things where we were the ones who always would fight and debate each other in class.
So to teach him a lesson, you had sex.
You fell for the negging. You fell for the negging.
Actually, no. He actually didn't neg.
He learned his lesson. He got his. Huh?
No, actually, no. He didn't neg. He didn't neg. I needed something to get over a breakup, and I was like,
oh. So it was a melting pot of fuckery.
It's not a pity. Don't blame it on a pretty. Like, you know what? I'm gonna show you. It's like that little kid that fucking.
No. Trust me. If you met,
like,
if you met him, you would know 100%. You're like, oh, this is just a boredom. Got it.
Look, no, I get that. I just don't know how. Like, yeah. I mean,
it was fun though, and I got my way all the time after that.
You know what? I've been accused of being annoying by everybody I've possibly ever met. And I've never I have never annoyed myself into pussy. I gotta be honest with you. I have never in my life annoyed myself into pussy. And everybody that loves me,
I'll teach her.
Oh, just wait till they go through a breakup and they're like,
Mary's so annoying. Let me just fuck him just to like get him to stop being annoying. That's never. I mean. Show me the ways, Jedi. Show me the ways, Master. I need to know.
Yeah. I guess it's also one of those things where I never lost the debate. I always won, even before that, mind you. So it was more that. It was more like, I'm smarter than you.
Right.
Well, who's smarter? He got what he wanted.
That's
not what he. No.
Well, that's not what he wanted.
It was
not what he wanted. He was like, so now you're saying he didn't have consent. Like, no, I don't want this. And you're like, you're gonna fucking take it because I'm smarter than you. Like, I don't know what
you are spinning.
That's also equating my value and my intelligence to my vagina, and those things aren't connected.
But that's what I'm saying. You're equating that. That's what you're saying. You're saying I'm smart.
No, it's really not. I'm saying all my debates I won.
She's talking about when they argued. When they argued, that she would always like win the arguments.
I'm married. I lose every argument, but I still don't get laid. I would love to.
Well, you got her 2 coffees, so I'm rooting for you, old pal.
Yeah, that's what I resort to. My whole thing is like, whatever it takes, I'll get her more coffee. Yeah, that's fine. We can get that. Now I know the trick. Every time she goes, you ask me to go get her coffee, I'm gonna get her too now. Even if I gotta pay for it, I'm like, my man.
It's an investment. It's an investment.
What I will say is that when you are broken up with, there's an element of there's a part of that you should accept. I've never understood the people who want to break up and then the other person says no. You know what I mean? Like where it's like, hey, I don't think we should see each other anymore. Straight, yeah. Like I've never understood that, where it's like, how do you think this is gonna go after I've said this? You know, like, I don't want to be with you, and you're like, no. Do you think that we're just gonna suddenly be okay? Like, it's just like, oh, real turnaround in the fourth quarter victory. Like
I think that has to do a lot with both people. Like if you are set on breaking up with somebody and then somebody out talks you out of that breakup, there's something going on there. We can unpack that.
What? Like, but how do you talk someone out of a breakup?
That's a good salesman. Like I just give that's a good salesman. Like I don't, you know what I mean? Like, bro, if I don't want chocolate cake,
if you don't want,
no, but I know. I think I know you're talking about, Missy. That like someone's saying like, oh, maybe this is the writing on the wall, and they're like, well, I mean, there's still something we can work on if you want.
Right? Let's go to therapy, and they're like, no, I want to leave, and you're like, but happiness. Like there's tons of ways that conversation. Like you may have the intent. There's also a thing where people will say things like, I mean, I need time or whatever. They're very vague. And for somebody like me, like if you tell me you need time, I don't have enough dating experience to be like, oh, he wants to break up. So I'm like, oh, he needs time. Like, but
that's one of those honesty is a kindness situations.
Right.
If he would be straight up with you, he doesn't need time. He wants to not see you anymore.
Correct. And so I have to be told like, because if you're vague about it, I don't do the thing where I read behind. Like I don't have that gift where I can figure out what they're really trying to say. Like I don't understand that.
I dated a lesbian for 5 years, so I don't have that thing where I could see what's actually going on. Like I don't have that.
Nary's like you tell Nary,
I have to make it real.
I'm honestly
Nary's
wondering
like,
how long she was going through some shit, and you're like la 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 la.
Yeah, someone tells Nary, hey, read between the lines, and Nary's like, there's lines.
Yeah.
What's happening now?
I felt like the life version of when somebody gives a colorblind person a colorblind test, and you go, tell me the letter that's underneath here, and you go, what letter?
It's just green circles.
It's a green thing. Yeah, but there's a letter green. Underneath the green. There's a letter, and you're like, no.
It's interesting that you would pick that metaphor about an eye exam.
That's the life version of like I mean,
but there's tons of ways where those like, or maybe you're just trying to test the waters, and like maybe you don't mean. I don't know. There's tons of different ways. But there you can definitely try to stick with something when the ship could be going down and you're like for XYZ reasons you could be talking yourself into sticking around because it'll turn around. It's like, well, you got a life vest on and there's water on your shoulders. You know what I mean? Like
I feel like that's the life
the light has activated.
That's the life equivalent of when people stick around during really bad shows like they don't like. I'm like, oh, but I've watched it for 7 years. It's like, yeah, but you haven't liked it for the last 3. You're like, but I just got to see where this goes.
You know what? I don't really appreciate you making it so real because The Walking Dead was good at some point, and now it's gonna finish, and I want to see where the story ends.
Missy's in a loveless relationship with The Walking Dead.
Huh?
I'm not gonna commit. It's not ready.
It's too. Maybe it'll change.
No.
There's. I quit the show 2 years ago. But this is the last season. So I'm hoping that they'll turn it, maybe they'll turn it around and
make
finish
up,
it
break
well.
up, baby. Make up, break up.
That's what I'm saying.
I actually read off a list to Nary like a few days ago, and I'm like, because I don't know why I like lists so much, but I do. And so I made a list of all the shows. It probably is. This shit hasn't kicked in yet. I've been on it for a week and a half, and I'm waiting. And I read him a list of all the shows that I've quit, and there were 28. And I'm like, I think I'm gonna go back to them. He's like, no, stick with your decision. And I'm like, but The Walking Dead is ending. He's like, you fucking hate that show.
You hated that show. Why would you go back? It wasn't like, oh, she quit 2 seasons.
That's like that ex that's like, don't text him.
It wasn't like she was like, yeah, it wasn't like, oh, I've watched and I've loved every season and every episode, but I just quit 2 years ago. Those shows like life gets in the way, you got busy. You go back to that hasn't like she quit because she was mad at it for 2 years before that. So she was already mad at it, and then why go back?
That is 100% analogy for relationships. Like
that's why my therapist. I'm my therapist 401k plan. You guys, there's just no fucking bottom to this.
Let's go to some comments. Christy says, talking about Sweet Home Alabama, that they were actually that part actually got cut out because Patrick Dempsey was supposed to be cheating on her, but they ended up editing that out because apparently Patrick Dempsey was very popular and they didn't want to piss people off. The world loved her. Missy says that Vanessa says that Missy speaking all the words for her.
I think it was the 2 coffees thing.
It was about you being dumb or something. You know how it is. Wives.
I don't think anybody was talking about me being dumb.
No, was that something I was reading into it?
I think that's what you said.
Was that something that I saw?
Look what you're doing in the chat.
I said
was
annoying. I said
was
annoying, and you went directly to dumb. Like,
yeah. Was I reading between lines?
That's like on TV shows when you're like, "Hey man, I'm sorry I called you stupid and fat," and you're like, "You never called me fat." I was like, "Oh,
I meant to."
Neri's not having a good time today on the podcast. He's getting insulted.
No, but it's like earlier today when Neri was talking about something and then he's like, "Oh yeah, this, that, and the other," and I'm like, "Oh, you're not the other, but like you are the other too. You are this and that."
Chiquita says, and when you understand the quote, "they are not that into you" concept, it is such a liberating feeling.
It really is. And I know, I don't know that this book was famous 13, 14, a lot longer than that, before the movie. But I read that book and it was a fucking game changer because there's a lot of conditioning that happens for all parties. Everyone is involved in this, but there's a lot of conditioning that happens for women where you are taught like, oh, he's being an asshole to you because he likes you. And if they fucking indoctrinate you with that in kindergarten, I wonder why you stick around.
That shit hit hard for Stephanie. That face that Stephanie had when you said that, Missy, that shit hit hard for
you know what I mean?
Because you hear this shit all the time in like elementary school and shit like that.
He's treating you like shit or whatever. Or like the whole concept of that a lot of times women specifically like to think that they can go into relationships and like you fall in love with the potential of a partner and not who they are. So the whole time you're just pushing them to be somebody that they're never going to be. And then you're in this fuckery and then it's like, but pay attention. Like, you know what I mean? Like that kind of shit. So sometimes it helps that that book was written by a man because a man's perspective
comedian, Greg Barrett. Wrote it.
Oh, I didn't know he was a comedian. I thought he was he just got a book deal. But he was like, it was like very insightful to get that perspective from men because I feel like that's needed a lot. Like,
and you know who was in that movie? They made a movie out of it.
Yeah,
Scarlett Johansson. Full circle, baby.
I own that movie.
Full circle.
So I had a relationship with a girl years upon 1,000 years ago. I had a relationship with a girl, and she was one of the girls that broke up with me because I was too nice. And we remain friends. We're still friends to this day, but we remain friends. And I would actually even give her dating advice in her future, in her relationships after me, right? And
it's very nice.
I remember, well, because I'm a nice guy.
God, I hate that phrase now.
It's become something else now.
Yeah. So the point of the story is to say that I remember at one point I was giving her advice and I was telling her shit and I was telling her all the advice that I was giving her. And then at like 2 years after this, like this relationship on her took a toll on her. And then she came over to me. She goes, "Hey, did you know that you wrote a book?" And I go, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "There's a new book out there called He's Just Not That Into You. And everything the guy wrote, you've told me personally. You've told me directly, like every piece of advice." As I'm reading this book, I'm thinking, Neri's told me this, Neri said this, and Neri said that. And I'm like, I felt like for a second, she was like, isn't that cool? And I was like, I feel like you just spent money on common sense. Like
sometimes you need to hear advice more than once. Okay.
For sometimes apparently it makes a better difference when you read it off a printed page for some people than when you actually have a friend that cares about you telling you this.
No, it does.
I'm not, this isn't a joke. This is like sometimes it helps. A visual aid helps. But I remember thinking like, this is just common sense things. These are like, he's just not that into you. He just doesn't like you.
Well,
I had too much into this.
I had a similar experience last week.
Unfortunately, like,
wait, Missy was talking, dude.
Yeah.
She's in Australia. There's a delay. I had a similar experience last week where I had this situation and I went to my inner circle and I was like, look, I already know what the right answer is. I just need to keep hearing your advice. And I went to 4 different people that don't talk to each other ever. And they all had the same advice. And I was like, okay, checkmate. So
he's just not that into you?
No. I wish it was that much fun. but
it was like the episode of The Office where all the 5 managers from the 5 companies got together and they were like, yeah, listen, we're out of agreement. This is
like that kind of thing. And Neri was one of the calls that I made, and he's like, the fact that you're asking for advice, do you know what I mean? Like, you never do this. And I'm like, That's true. That's something to consider. But yeah, sometimes you just need to hear it more than once, and sometimes what your brain constitute as like a legit source with a PhD or whatever, like written by, helps your brain kind of like, settle it.
Yeah, I always say like that was a big thing for therapy for me, was an objective third party. I love like someone who is completely removed from my life, hearing me give the side of the story and also poking holes in it. It's like, are you sure that sounds like you saw it one way, whatever, and then being able to like reflect, because they don't give a shit about your friend or whoever you're talking about or whatever, like they're just there to present an objective view. If you can get that from, so you can't get that from friends. A friend in your life, it's like when your friend tells you something like have you ever had those? God, I'm watching For All Mankind, that show on Apple TV Plus for about the space thing, and there's a scene specifically where the wife, one of the wives is talking to another wife about how the husband is a cheater, and then is like telling her to like keep it calm, bring it down, don't worry about it, it'll fix itself, all that stuff. But that is not the right advice, like it was because it would make her life more complicated. She had some vested interest in the astronaut 100%. Wives and astronauts all getting along.
I don't agree with the sentiment of like friends can't be impartial. I think that's incorrect as well. But I do agree that some friends are just because somebody's your friend doesn't mean that they are capable of giving good advice. Some people just don't have common sense, and if you don't have common sense to life situations, you are not a person that should be giving advice.
Right. Also, and sometimes we go to the wrong friends for advice.
Yeah. Sometimes you just go to the wrong friend for advice. Christy says that she's invested into Grey's Anatomy because she's been watching it for 17 years.
That's just so fucking depressing.
I could not. I had to stop.
So depressing.
My whole thing is, if you like it for 17 years, then keep fucking watching it. That's great. But
honey,
if you're not happy with it,
she's watched it and rewatched it like 4 or 5 times.
I think Chrissy just wants to be sad. I think you just want an outlet.
Well, that's what I'm
saying. You just want to be sad.
That's my point. My point is that's not the same thing as Missy, who does not like The Walking Dead. Or
I did.
Yes, the first 2 seasons.
When we first started dating, he was great.
Listen, I have to. You know what? Touche. On the nose.
Yeah,
the
band's gonna make it.
Vanessa says that she refuses to teach her girls that boys are mean because they like you.
Good. You should teach
100%. But if a boy's mean, he's mean. He's a mean boy. That's it. Done.
I don't know if I agree with that either, but that's fine.
But I'm saying for when you're teaching that to a little girl, like
I think
if someone's acting mean, there's something wrong with them. Not he likes you. He's being mean in that moment. That's
it. You could do both. You could be like, look, they're acting this way because they don't know how to tell you that they like you, so they're acting this way. What you should do is not be around that fucking asshole because he's an asshole. That's 2 separate.
I think giving a small child that first bit is way too confusing.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I have faith.
No,
I don't have to deal with this problem.
Rookie says women don't want nice guys. They want kind men.
Nice. That's good.
That's deep, baby.
That's a solid generalization. Again, he gives a caveat. He's like, not all, but in general, like that is a good piece of advice. You don't like, because
nice is too surface, kind is deep.
Yes, because I was having this conversation. Like a friend of mine was talking about
somebody who's been told that he's too nice of a guy. I feel everybody like, yes,
nice, not you.
Bullshit. Nice is surface. We don't want that bullshit. I'm like,
not you.
It's not that it's not important. It's that there's a different. So someone was talking about how people in LA are nice, but they're not kind. People in New York are kind, but they're not nice. You know what I mean? Like the people in LA are very superficial, or Miami is people are neither nice nor kind.
You know what? I think Miami is like, I will show you what I am. You take it or you leave it. That's it.
You said the same thing.
The most part.
No, I will say I will show you who I'm pretending to be because I've financed this car and I'm indebted to my eyeballs and I do illegal things to make this money. It's not, you know what I mean?
Like, there is that level. I was thinking more like just in like crowds, socializing crowds, but in the working world,
money doesn't mean that that's not who you are. It doesn't mean that you're fake. You're a real drug dealer. You're real.
You're a real drug dealer.
That's really who you are.
But
I'm not pretending to be a drug dealer. I'm just a fucking drug dealer. Like, that's okay.
I don't know. I think I just have a different perception of Miami being away from it now. Like, there's parts of it that.
Oh yeah, we forget pain. Neri tells me that all the time.
Yeah,
we forget pain.
I guess I forgot how much I forgot how much he cheated on me. Like,
well, the idea being that
ex was just.
This was like much like what Rookie said. This is like a generalization in sense of like there's a difference between nice and kind. One is a superficial thing that can mean nothing, but that they may hate your guts, but they're polite. They're seemingly cordial or whatever, but deep down they don't give a fuck about you, and they'll sell you to they'll sell their mother to whoever that kind of thing. But like in New York,
there's another level to it too, because like some of these guys who think themselves nice guys, right? They're just soft. They're just like soft guys who, because they're not the alpha in a situation, because they're not an aggressor in a situation, they feel like what they're doing isn't insidious.
Neri's muted. Like Neri's like, am I muted? Am I here?
Am I invisible? Yeah, like I feel like I'm being attacked all the time.
It's not about you guys.
It's not about you. Damn,
it's just nice guys.
We just spent 20 minutes talking about how I get dumped for being the nice guy, and then everybody's like, "Yeah, these nice guys, they're not really fucking nice. They're just weak."
But we're talking about we're doing
a generalization.
We're talking about. When I say nice guy, and I think Mike's doing the same thing. We're talking about nice guy TM. Like, there's a particular brand of guy who's like labeled themselves the nice guy. You're talking about in a situational thing. People have said you're too nice in a relationship. That's a different thing than like you are the nice guy. Is that guy in the forum being like, why is she going after these guys? I'm guys, nice guy.
Girls only like assholes and blah blah blah.
Not nice guys.
I've been guilty of that too. I'm not saying I've been guilty of having that.
I still believe that.
I feel like guys go through that.
If you're 25 years old, when I was 25, all the women that I knew were like in relationships with assholes. And I remember saying multiple times, girls just love the asshole. They love the quote unquote bad boy. They love the asshole.
Because when you're a kid,
when you're 25, again, in a time frame, in a specific time frame, I think as you get older, you realize that's not. And I remember that being one of the parts of the bit that they would be like, oh, in 10 years, she's going to regret breaking up with you. I'm like, that doesn't help me now. Not like, I'm not going to be like, oh, it's your 32nd birthday. What do you want? Nothing, bro. I already got it. She wasn't breaking up with me 10 years ago. Like, that was part of the bit, but I was true. Like, I would get that all the time. Like, oh, in 10 years she's gonna regret it. I'm like, what? How does that help you? Like, I don't know.
That what we're getting at is that a true nice guy that's a title given to you by others. If you have to call yourself a nice guy,
then you're not a nice guy.
There's something. Oh, look,
you can never call yourself a nice guy because then you're not.
No. It's in the sense of it's in the context of like trying to convince a girl to like. I've never understood the concept.
You're trying to sell yourself. I get what
yes.
you're
saying. I've never like
It's like you're defining yourself by this, and it's
right. I've grown to learn that the mentality that you have of that. Trying to convince someone to be with you. That is like the worst possible way to go about it, where it's like you're clearly going after like a
lost cause.
Paul F. Tompkins has a special called "Crying and Driving." It's very funny, and he has this bit about like he's like the girl I went after was a girl who wanted nothing to do with me. Oh, that got me going. Like that was like that idea of being ignored and like get it. The one that you can't get is the one that you end up wanting when there's someone perfectly good here that like you communicate. It's the same reason that girls go after the bad boy.
There's a thing in their head too where they feel like they're winning something.
Yeah,
if they convince this girl something, and like that's a whole other level of like. We shouldn't make people some sort of prize. Like we can't do that, or else we end up going.
I don't think we should make anybody a prize.
That was in the movie. He's Just Not That Into You. That was what's his name?
Fine, I'll watch it tonight. Jesus.
That's Long's character. Remember that he was in.
Yeah,
it's been said enough times. It's kind of.
But you know what I hate about that movie is that he's. Huh? What'd you say?
Everything.
Yeah, no. But that movie is like that movie and the book are two separate entities in my head, because the whole point of Justin Long's character was to be the truth teller, to be to be the perspective of the writer of the book. Then he fucking rolls over and likes the girl that he fucking hated the whole time. Like, come on, guys. Like Gary Marshall, do better.
Yeah,
but it's also Gary Marshall. Like Gary Marshall wants that pretty beau.
Yeah.
Like, so I think in the movie they should have not ended up either. Like the whole point.
Nobody should have gotten a happy ending. Stick to the fucking premise.
I love the phrase. You're not the exception. You're the rule. I love that phrase. I used to have to use it on my friends all the time when they were going after certain guys. I'm like, we already told you.
Oh shit!
If someone tells you who they are.
I don't like the concept that not getting with a person that you should not be with as a happy ending, or like getting with someone who didn't want to be with you in the first place. As like like that's not how happiness.
Why would you want to marry somebody?
Because a person's not a prize. Like
that told you I don't want to ever get married, and then you go through this whole thing, and then he ends up marrying you. I would be suspicious as fuck.
Yes.
So like
that happiness coming from a relationship rather than yourself is like a problem.
Across the board.
It's like,
I personally love that. I love the saying, if someone tells you who they are, believe them.
Yes,
I didn't go with it myself in the past.
Maya Angelou quote Michael Scott - Stephanie Meyer Sr.
To quote
the nice guy wants to talk.
To quote a philosopher, some people are just like, I'm wearing you down, baby. I'm wearing you down. End quote, Steve Urkel. All right, so
he's been watching Family Matters for 6 years.
Jeff says, tell that to the writer.
Oh my God.
I wish I would have read that comment before I would have never put that up there. I apologize.
No, but he's right though.
No, he's not.
He's right.
Show's amazing and
show's stupid.
Show's amazing and everything.
Show's stupid.
And the finale was perfect.
No, I hate the ending.
Mike, have you seen How I Met Your Mother?
Nope.
Oh shit! So,
I think he did that to the wrong person.
No, he didn't.
True. No, that's true.
He's such a dick.
She literally called her. She called me out on not kicking her out. What am I supposed to not kick her out now?
Yeah, nice guy. Yeah, nice guy.
We gotta do.
Oh no, no.
This is what we're saying. He's not actually a nice guy.
We gotta do. We gotta do.
Ooh, there's an echo.
It's you, Steph. You gotta re-put your headphones again. Mute her.
Do we have an Am I the Asshole?
We do actually. Yeah. We have a bunch actually.
I think we talked about Am I the Asshole a lot this episode.
Are we the asshole? Is Neri the asshole? No, he's the nice guy.
I'm the asshole for sure.
Am I the asshole for making a scene at my making a scene of my adult son and sticking my nose in his marriage?
Yes. Next.
Ooh. Wait, no,
I don't know.
I need to know the gossip now, though.
Am I the asshole for purposely sending my cousin the wrong time for a movie so the others could enjoy? Am I the asshole for uninviting my mom to my wedding just because she borrowed my fiance's hold on, what's the rest of this?
Is it the wedding dress?
Load. Am I the asshole for uninviting my mom to my wedding just because she borrowed my fiance's necklace?
Ooh.
What do we do?
Two
wedding.
I want to know the gossip of the first one. Like I want to know the gossip of the first one, but like the third one, I'm confused on. There has to be another layer to it.
So which one? The cousin.
Dealer's pick. Go ahead.
I haven't read this one, so let's go with the one I haven't read. Okay. Am I the asshole for making a scene of my adult son and sticking my nose in his marriage? I'm 60 and bad with the whole text thing on mobile, probably British, mobiles. So I'm hoping I won't be judged on my grammar. Oh, that's fine. Here's the important background. My daughter-in-law, 32, and son, 33, have 3 children aged 3 years, 2 years, and 4 months. He convinced her to be a stay-at-home mom and sell her business by telling her how good of a childhood he had and how happy my marriage was without telling her, which I found out today, that our arrangement was everything before 9 a.m. and after 5 p.m. was split 50-50. Oh, and my day off, I was brought out twice a week.
What?
Wait, what?
Okay. Hold on. This is messed up. So she's 60. Let's give her. She can't rotate a PDF. Hold on. He convinced her to be a stay-at-home mom and sell her business by telling her how good of a childhood he had and how happy my marriage was without telling her that our arrangement was everything before 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. was split 50-50. Sunday was my day off, and I was brought out twice a week. So I'm assuming they had like a very bad relationship.
They had well, no, it was during the work hours. She took care of everything from 9 to 5. She took care of everything. So maybe the guy, her son, wasn't aware that before 9 a.m. and after 5 p.m. her dad did a lot of helping out.
Right.
It was that.
Okay.
Right?
On to the story. On my last visit, I noticed my daughter.
I was brought out 2 times a week. I was confused by that.
Yeah, are they British? Who knows? Onto the story. On my last visit, I noticed my daughter-in-law was struggling mentally. So I, my sister, 55 female, and her girlfriend, 53, pulled our money together and paid for a spa weekend for them while we'd babysit the kids for her birthday last weekend. I was preparing on Thursday evening for the kids to arrive when my daughter-in-law rang me, holding back tears, saying they won't be going because my son's friend came to town and he said he wanted to spend the weekend with his friends catching up. I pressed her a little and I'm talking a little about her situation. She came clean about him doing no chores, no date nights, and her basically doing all of the childcare because that's what stay-at-home moms do. I was honestly disgusted. I convinced her to drop me off the kids and bring a friend to the spa. I even dipped into my savings to give her 500 euros to buy herself something nice. Damn.
No.
So she's got to go all the way to fucking Europe to spend that?
I know. When the conversion's good though. When she dropped me off the kids, I begged her to tell me where my son was. After 5 minutes, she told me the bar. She left for the spa while I left for the bar. She knew I was going there and knew my sister and my sister-in-law were taking care of the kids. Yeah, this lady's crushing it. Yeah. Here's where I might be the asshole. When I went to the bar, he was there with his friends. He and his friends were. I sat down next to the group and asked my son, "Did I fail you?" This is in quotes. "Did I fail you as a mother, or was it your father? Because we both thought your partner comes before your silly drunk friends." The post is getting long enough, but long story short, I humiliated him and got myself banned from the bar.
That's a good mom.
My daughter-in-law said she will be taking the kids to her parents when she gets back tomorrow, and my son is calling me an asshole for humiliating him / sticking my nose in his marriage. Maybe I should have stayed out. I don't know. Edit. This is after the post. I just wanted to say I'm heartbroken, not by any judgment towards me or my parenting skills, but the fact that a lot of people are shocked I care about my daughter-in-law's mental health and stood up for her against my son's bad behavior. I just want to say, as a mother, my advice is treat your daughter / son / non-binary in-laws how you'd want your children treated. Respect goes a long way. Oh. Damn.
Does she have an Amazon wish list?
Rookie has a fantastic question. Is the OP Yolanda?
Damn. Yolanda.
Bro, like I love OP. I love.
She was very offended at the 60 years old. She said, hey. And she said, I'm over 60 and I can rotate a PDF.
She said more than a PDF.
That means that she can't. That means that she was like, I can do more than a PDF. No, do the original thing I said.
What?
They had a date night twice a week. So the husband and wife arranged a date night twice a week.
I was brought out like I was taken out.
Yes,
that's what that means.
Mom. Yeah, she's you gotta understand. Stephanie is Australian, not European.
Oh my god,
same thing, but it's not. So that's why we didn't understand.
My in-laws are European.
Yes, spelling favorite with a U and shit.
Yolanda, that's why we love you. And we said Ricky. Chrissy said, not the asshole. Women supporting women. This is only a correct way for a mother-in-law to stick her nose in.
Remember when I jumped the gun and I'm like, she's the asshole. I'm stupid because I was very wrong.
I think we are in agreement. I don't think she's the asshole. I do think
there's a better way to deliver the message to the son?
I don't.
No.
I think it's the best way to do it at that moment, at that time. You're being an asshole, you're being an asshole to your wife. Fucking, you're doing it right now. This isn't previous, and where it could change. Where 2 days from now you could be like, oh no, but you don't understand. But we had no. It's happening right now. You're being an asshole to your wife right fucking now. And I don't understand if anybody, I'm assuming by what she wrote, that people were talking shit about how she chose her daughter-in-law over her son. I don't understand how anybody thinks that it's okay to let somebody be mistreated simply because they're closer to you or they're related to you.
Also, in the long run, this is the best for her son, is the reality check.
Yes, correct. That's why I said that's why I don't think there could have been a better way. I'm gonna fucking check you in front of your friends, put you in your fucking place so that you could understand. And maybe God knows what, maybe one of his friends is like, wait a minute, you were supposed to go out to a spa with your wife and you're here instead.
No, there's a follow-up comment.
Oh,
apparently so someone had asked like what happened at the bar, and then she writes that her son, that the daughter-in-law said it was okay. We hardly see David since he moved. I don't know what that means. Your wife is on the way to her spa, blah 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 blah. You got to sober up and you got to be a good responsible father. You're a failure as a father, as you are a husband. Would you like it if one of your sisters were treated this way? His friend was saying, ma'am, you are yelling and making a scene. Please leave, because by the sounds of what everything is going okay, at least for tonight. We don't get to hang out with each other much since college, so please cut the son some slack.
No.
And then it's like, so like apparently the friends are like, don't get it either. And then she writes, someone was like, you're not the asshole. It sounds like your son's a piece of shit, etc. And then she writes, I honestly don't know where this attitude comes from. His father treated me with respect, and his brothers seem to be respectful to their partners too. So it's like,
well, here's the bigger question. Is it all parents, or do they end up getting influenced by other people?
I literally had that conversation with my mom, about shit that I won't go into because it's personal about. She seems to be under my mom seems to be under the impression of like, if my kids do anything wrong, it's a reflection on me. And I'm like, no, mom, it's not that way. Your kids are grown. I'm the youngest, and I'll be 40 in a few weeks. Your kids are grown adults that make their own decisions. We were taught and raised by the same woman, by the same people. But if I happen to kill somebody, it doesn't mean that you were a bad mom. It means that I made bad decisions.
Right.
I made poor decisions. It's not that. It's not like she's like, I don't understand. I raised all four of you the same, and you guys don't act the same. I'm like, because we're fucking different human beings. Like that's
well, just because the lessons have been laid out for you doesn't mean you take it in.
Thank you. Yes, and I would say to Neri's point, I experienced the same thing. We have the same parents, and me and my brother could not be any more different. But other than that, this lady, do we have her email? Because if she has any eligible older sons, I would very much like to send over my picture, because she understood the assignment. Because I think what happens often is that women forget that that you are raising your sons, but you are raising also somebody's boyfriend, husband, dad, coworker, boss. So like the lesson doesn't end because he's un niño lindo, because he's your son. Like you need to mold your children, because they're not just your kid. They're going to be fully they're going to be fully immersed in society, and like, don't raise an asshole, So this lady
with my daughter's 9 years old, and I said, I'm not raising a child. I'm raising you to be a human being. And so when I'm having a conversation with her, I'm like, I'm talking to you straightforward because I believe you can handle this. This is not, I need you to know this information. And like some of the stuff when I say to her is like when I'm teaching her how to do, first of all, she learned how to do laundry a long time ago, her own laundry. But like when I'm teaching her how to responsibility to wash dishes or throw out the garbage, I'm like, this is not a punishment. This is teaching you how to be an adult.
Yeah.
And I told her, I gave her the example. I go, you're gonna go to maybe one day you'll go to college, and you'll be away from us, and you'll be hanging out with a friend who's never washed a dish, who doesn't know how to throw out their garbage, who's a pig, who doesn't clean up their own room. But you know who's not going to be that? And she goes, me. I go, goddamn right. You're not going to be that. I'm not raising children. I'm raising fucking adults.
That's a good point. Yeah. That's great.
Like I'm not raising. So this lady, apparently, however many kids she has, one of them didn't take them fucking
right. Well, she said there was a comment is like, since you're on a roll right now, maybe call each of their partners too. Speaking about the brothers and the sons that are respectful to their partners. And she writes, "Oh, I did. Believe me, I rang each one of my kids and their partners, my son's partners." And she lists all about them. Were surprised at what happened and assured me my sons would be single if they mistreated their partners the same way. Like they'd be like, "Yeah, get the fuck out of here." And then someone wrote, my favorite comment is like, lose the son, keep the daughter-in-law.
Like that's just like I'm shocked. Like it bothers me. Like we talked about this a few weeks ago, Stephanie. You weren't here. It's like it bothers me that people think that because somebody is related to you by blood, that they have to be that I gotta keep them around even though they're toxic to my life, and that's just that bothers me. It's like no,
but that struggle
they're toxic, and it's harder. I would say not harder, but it's hard for us specifically Hispanic people that are raised with the whole mentality of like family is everything, and I think family is great.
It's like one of our pillars, like
one of our pillars. But when that family, when certain family is toxic, you need to be able to be strong enough and be like, I love my family, but I can't have that person in my life. And that's what this is right here. Like I love my son, but he is not doing right by another human being.
Yeah, that's why I really like that my parents raised me with, yes, like family is everything, but also family's chosen. So like they had that addendum, like
that didn't arrive here.
The definition of family can adjust and change with time. Community is the bigger thing for them,
right? I would say that the problem, even though cognitively I can follow that what Neri's saying, because he's right. That's a problem. Stop it! Don't do it. We've made it almost a whole episode. Don't do it. But there's a lot to unpack in that. Like, why would you say if you are raised in an environment where you're taught that love is abuse and endurance and being a doormat and like all of the like complete opposite stuff of what your parents try to raise you as the construct of family and love and loyalty, and it takes a lifetime to fucking undo those knots because that's how you are wired. So how if you don't know anything else, like Mother Gothel, that's it. I'll just say that.
But look,
but
like here's the other side of the coin though, right? Like you said that I was raised with all these different things. We both ended up in shitty relationships. Like they gave me all the lessons. It doesn't mean that I took everything in.
Yeah.
And like sometimes like I had to learn the hard way which ones to actually finally take in eventually and like get out. Like
in so many ways, you can't force people to do anything they don't want to do. Even if you're their parent. You know what I mean? Like there will be rebellion, there will be, disagreement, there will be just a genuine still love and respect and all that stuff, but you want seek your own path, you know what I mean? Like there's that goes for everyone. That whole thing, you can never like make someone do something that they don't want to let you do, and then if you do continue to force the issue, you're the problem, you know what I mean? Like you're the bad guy, you're the asshole, you know what I mean? That's basically it. Like if you force someone to do something that is detrimental to them, that is bad, like that is for your own personal gain for whatever reason, that makes you the bad guy. You're not the nice guy anymore. You're not doing what is beneficial to you're not kind. All of those things boil down to family can be just as, it's the longest relationship you'll have with any human being if they're good. If they're not, but it's like that whole concept of the found family and all that stuff. The reason that exists is because certain families suck. You know what I mean? Like the honor your father and mother shit from the Bible. Certain families suck.
That deep sigh. That shit said. Yeah. Chiquita says, I strongly believe that we do repeat behavior. So please, parents out there, someone is watching. That sounds like a threat and a
promise.
Yeah.
Is it Santa? Is it Santa watching?
It sounds like the police. Like, I'll be watching.
I have never done anything wrong ever.
Yeah. Why do I feel like somebody's watching me?
It's funny that I went with the police and you went with that one. Usually we would have gone the other way around.
We would have switched, yeah.
Vanessa says also the more you tell someone not to do something, the more they want to do it.
You can't tell people what to do.
This is teetering
it's
on.
That's probably a hard thing as a parent, I guess.
Once again,
but like, also
teetering on what? Teetering on what?
It's like, no, also this thanks to the story also shows you got to be careful who your friend, like your kids' friends are, because it shows that this guy's friends aren't exactly the best freaking influences either.
Yeah, they're shitty too.
Like they're shitty people too. Like I'm sorry if anyone, even if my mom is telling me out, if anyone like decides to like say shit back to my parents, I'm like, oh no, now we're the like you and I. This friendship's not gonna gel.
Yeah, that wouldn't work in my life.
Yeah,
I had sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just to say that in reference to what you were just saying about like the kind of friends you surround yourself with, I think that's like crucial because I had a conversation with a friend recently. I'll keep the person anonymous, but they were like, how the fuck are we surrounded with so many stupid people? And I was like, I think we had to go through the stupid people to meet each other. And like now we got top shelf circle. So I think that and then what you are looking for in your circle is not for people to condone shitty behavior, but to fucking like pull you aside and be like, you're fucking up. And even if you don't like it, you still have to sit with it because you know the caliber of people that are in your life, you have to fucking take into account.
This is why Gryffindor won the House Cup in the first Harry Potter, because Neville stood up to his friends.
She doesn't know that.
I do know that.
It's hard for it to stand up to your enemies, but it's even harder to stand up to your friends, and that's why Neville won them the House Cup. Boom.
Gangster shit. And on that note,
take the mic out and drop it if I could.
Well,
just pick it up and lay it down.
Ravenclaw got fucking got cheated, but whatever, they got robbed.
Always, every year it was like Dumbledore's like, guess what? Bonus points.
Yeah,
it's like shit.
But, like, so this whole competition even doing a year, bonus points goes to the house that I belong to.
Favorites.
Like, is that it?
Gryffindor was definitely the favorite of all the children.
Yeah. And the Hufflepuffs are like, we understand. It's good. That's fine.
that's
we don't really care. It's fine.
That's the oldest kid.
Ravenclaws are like, is that allowed? Are they going through a book? Like,
yeah.
Slytherin's the only ones who give a fuck.
The burn.
The Slytherin guys are like, we just have guns now. You know?
Did you read that meme? We're about to get off, but did you read that meme? I sent you. I don't know if I sent you that meme, Mike, where it said that somebody once told me that Harry Potter, the whole Harry Potter series, took place between 1991 and 1997, which I found utterly ridiculous. Because now once in those books did somebody go, man, the fucking Chicago Bulls are having a run.
That's one of those things where it's like, oh, this could have been ended immediately with a Glock. You know what I mean? Like, someone finds guy like Avada Kedavra. What was he gonna say? I don't know. I shot him.
I don't have my wand. Oh, let me get my wand out.
Murder was the case that they gave me.
Did you ever?
Can you read the last comment before we log off?
Vanessa says 10 points to Gryffindor.
Bonus points at the end, bitches.
That makes her Dumbledore because she's gonna have a problem with that.
All right. So thank you guys for checking us out. We appreciate that. If you're listening to the audio version, please remember that you could go back and watch the video on our Facebook or YouTube channels. Everything is at WuBro Pod, WuBroPod. So if you want to go to our Facebook, go to facebook.com/WuBroPod. Same thing for YouTube, youtube.com/WuBroPod. Our Cash App, if you want to donate to the show, is WuBroPod, $WuBroPod. And our Patreon is patreon.com/WuBroPod. So thank you, Rookie, and thank you, Yolanda, for donating to our Patreon. So make sure you guys check that out. Make sure you check out Missy's writing on our Instagram. It's at Missy the Writer. Mike's is at Mike Mercadal. So check out his stuff. Are we back from is your website back? I'm trying to figure out.
They can follow her page.
Her page at hello_my dear Watson. Hello_my dear Watson. You can check out my stuff at Nary
the nice guy.
whatwashisname.com or that nice guy isn't really that nice, but I'm gonna say he's nice.net.
Softguy.com.
Yeah. Pussyassbitch.net. So make sure you guys check that out. Also, you got the other podcasts on the Geek Bro Network that include, but not limited to, the Geek Bro podcast. Better Let Me Tell You. Child Like at Best with Mike Valdez. A Dose of Ellie. What am I missing here?
Our rollout's really long.
Seasons. A TV podcast is up. The first season of the podcast seasons is up. We do Parks and Rec, and each episode is a review of that pertaining season of the show Parks and Rec. We're going to be working on bringing you season 2 rather quickly. It's not going to take 4 years, I promise. So make sure you check that out. Oh, Shiver, check out Shiver, horror movie podcast, and Mike, myself, and Missy, along with Jeff, that was commenting earlier, are now working on, and we'll be starting on a podcast next week, a new podcast that Missy is thrilled to be a part of.
I just want to say, nobody asked me if I wanted to be in the podcast. I was just like, hey, by the way, next Thursday, this is what's happening.
This is what we're doing.
Watch this movie.
I don't want to. I'm like, no. We're gonna.
I even tried to get myself kicked out today, and it didn't work.
Yeah, she's like, I go, what movies do you guys recommend? And she was like, what about this? And I was like, no.
I was like, what about Bring It On? There's kicking and fighting, and he's like, you can try to get yourself kicked out, but it's not gonna work.
Not gonna work. So make sure you guys go to geekbro.net, check that out.
I don't want to do it.
I feel like I should promote the podcast now, even though we haven't started it, because just to get more followers on the social media. But it is a martial arts movie podcast. We're calling it Kick Flicks, like Netflix, but with kicking. Kick Flicks, and we will review every episode. We'll watch and review a movie that has something to do with martial arts. It doesn't have to be super like kung fu-y. Like that's Mike's thing is like, this isn't kung fu-y enough. I'm like, it doesn't have to be. It's fine.
I didn't say it wasn't. I said I'm going to bring kung fu to the table. I'm going to bring these old school Shaw Brothers kung fu movies to the table.
Early Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan is gonna be on here.
Yeah. I mean, but there's 700 movies that he did. It's fine. The first movie that we are watching.
The Jean-Claude Van Damme catalog. I can't wait.
Bring back JCVD.
That's what I'm saying. The first movie that we're watching and reviewing is the Chuck Norris classic Sidekicks.
1992 Sidekicks.
A 1992. You see how happy she
don't have her on.
No, we need somebody who doesn't like the genre to give us a fucking comedic take on not liking these movies.
Sure,
that's fair. I would just be sitting there talking about how like I started Taekwondo because of Sidekicks.
It's the
I'd be like, look at his hair. His hair's stupid.
It's the same reason I'm on Shiver.
I love Jonathan Brandis.
Oh yeah. Well,
rest in peace.
That just got so weird.
Anyway,
all right. So
thanks for listening, guys.
Jeff said not once throughout those books was anybody listening to Tupac at Hogwarts. Like, I mean, come on,
come on, man.
Or Coolio.
I mean, but they were also
Coolio.
Like,
that's a
they're
valid
also
point.
in the UK. I don't really think wizards are that hard.
Gangster's Paradise transcends borders. All right,
legit. All right, so thank you guys
for
checking us
Phil Collins of rap songs.
Go to geekbro.net. You guys have been fantastic. That's how winning is done.
Bitch,